Most day traders have 5 indicators on their chart and 4 of them are costing them money. So today I'm going to be breaking down the 5 you actually need for 2026, what they do, where they work, and where they break down. We're going to be counting down from 5 to 1, and number 1 is the indicator that institutions use as the benchmark for every single trading day. And stick around to the end because I got a bonus indicator that almost nobody in retail trading talks about, but the pros use it every single day. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be dropping new content like this for you guys every single week, but let's get started. Rounding out the top 5, we have the volume profile, and this is the one that most retail traders completely overlook, which is why it's on this very list. Most retail traders look at the volume bars on the bottom of their chart. That's volume over time. It tells you guys when people traded, but not where the value actually lies. Volume profile flips that. It shows you the volume at the price. That's a completely different and much more powerful way to read the market. The key levels to know are the point of control, that's where the price level with the highest volume was traded, and the value area, which is the range where roughly 70% of all volume was transacted. High volume nodes are going to be the price levels where most of the work was done. Think of them as like high traffic intersections. They act as support and resistance. Low volume nodes are price levels where very little trading happened and the price tends to move through them very quickly. Here's something that most traders miss. If price is approaching a high volume node from below, don't just blindly long that breakout. The node acts as a ceiling because there are traders trapped at that price looking to get out at a break-even price. Understanding that little bit of context changes how you trade those levels entirely. Here's why it works though. Volume profile gives you the most honest picture of supply and demand on a chart. It tells you guys where the market has accepted the value and where it has not. Trading nodes at high volume near support has a much higher probability of holding than trades taken at random levels with no volume context. However, here's where it breaks. There's a learning curve. You need to understand the profile shape to avoid false signals. It also requires a platform that supports it well, like TradingView or Thinkorswim. It's not available native on all platforms, which is unfortunate, but they try to charge you for it nowadays. However, here's how you guys get to use it. You're going to pull up a daily volume profile to identify the major point of control value area on a recent session. When intraday price pulls back to a higher volume node that lines up with your VWAP or your EMA support, that confidence layered together is a high probability entry. Low volume nodes above a price act as air pockets where the price can move fast with little resistance, great for projecting targets and getting a nice easy stop loss. Ending in at number 4, we have the MACD or the moving average convergence divergence. This is a momentum indicator and it's one of the best tools for timing entries and spotting trend shifts before they actually develop through price action. The MACD consists of 3 major components, and these are the MACD line, which is the difference between the 12 and 26 EMA on the standard settings, the signal line, which is the 9 EMA of the MACD line itself, and the histogram, which shows the distance between the 2 lines separately. Here's where most traders are going to go wrong with this though. They're going to wait for the signal line crossover. By the time that happens, a big chunk of the move is already gone. Instead, watch for what I call the histogram fade. When those bars start getting shorter, the fuel is leaving the downward move. That's your early warning before the crossover even happens. Also, watch out for the MACD divergence on the 15-minute time frame. If the price makes a higher high but the MACD peak is lower than the previous one, momentum is fading fast even though the price action looks strong. That is your signal to either sell or be very alert to what's about to happen next. Here's why the MACD works so well though. The MACD is great for confirming trend direction and identifying momentum shifts early. The histogram gives you a visual read on whether momentum is building or dying. That little nuance is something a lot of traders miss these days. It works very well on both the 5 and the 15-minute charts while you guys are day trading. However, this is where it really breaks down. The MACD is a lagging indicator. It can also be slow to react in fast-moving markets, especially if you guys are in those penny stocks, which is a problem when you're day trading and every minute counts and you're trying to make as much money possible in that trading day. It's going to generate a lot more noise on those 1-minute charts, so stick to a 5-minute chart or higher if you want to get the most use out of it. And here's how I use the MACD. I watch the histogram as my primary signal. When the bars start shrinking after a very large move, you're going to start tightening your stop loss, preparing for an easy exit. When the MACD line crosses above the signal line where the price is also above the VWAP and the 9 EMA is above the 21 EMA, that stack of confirmation gives you a high probability setup. 1 indicator is a suggestion, 3 confirming is a good trade. Covered the map and the momentum, but we haven't hit the top 3 yet, and that's where I think things get really good. If you're finding value in this breakdown, please hit that like button. It helps the channel reach more traders. Let's keep going. Clocking in at number 3, and this one has been around forever, the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index. Still one of the most useful tools on any chart, and most traders are using it completely wrong. RSI is going to measure the speed and the magnitude price changes on a scale from 0 to 100. Above 70 is traditionally considered overbought, and below 30 is traditionally oversold. But here's the thing. In a strong trending market, which we have a lot of nowadays, RSI can sit at a level for 85 for weeks while the price keeps on pushing higher and higher and higher. Seeing an RSI reading that and immediately thinking short is one of the most common mistakes in retail trading. Instead, use the RSI as an exhaustion meter and watch for the divergence. A bearish divergence is when price is making a higher high, but the RSI is making lower highs. This is going to be really interesting because it's going to be showing you that momentum is fading even though price is still rising. But you also have to watch out for the RSI's hidden divergence. If price is making a higher low but the RSI is making a lower low, that's a hidden bullish signal, and that's something that is never really talked about these days. It means the market is resetting its energy without actually dropping in price. And that's where you guys are going to find some of the most explosive continuation trades where the overall trend is still going to be strong. Now here's why it works so well. RSI divergent setups are some of the cleanest signals that you guys are going to find in all of technical analysis, because both regular and hidden divergence gives you an edge that goes well beyond the simple oversold or overbought types of readings. But here's where it really starts to break down. In a very strong trend, RSI overbought and oversold signals alone are not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to get you wrecked. It needs to be paired with price structure and other indicators to be effective. So here's how I use it. On a 15-minute chart, watch for the bearish divergence at key resistance levels as a potential short signal. Watch for the bullish divergence and the hidden bullish divergence at support as long signals. You guys are going to keep the RSI period at 14 because those standard settings, they really are simple and they're there for a reason. You don't want to overcomplicate it. If you do want to overcomplicate it, watch my YouTube channel. I have a bunch of other settings specifically for the RSI, MACD, you name it, I have it. Coming in at number 2, we have the bread and butter, the EMA 9 and the EMA 21. Those exponential moving averages are key to your success while day trading. I run these two together on every single chart, every single day while day trading. They're not complicated, and that's exactly why they work so well. The 9 EMA is going to be your fast line. It's going to hug the price more closely, and it's going to show you guys the short-term momentum. The 21, however, is your slow line, your trend baseline. When the 9 is above the 21, you're in an uptrend. When the 9 is below the 21 EMA, you're going to be in a downtrend. So here's the concept I want you guys to remember. The pocket, the space between the 9 and the 21 EMAs, that's where the trade really lives. In a strong trend, the price will almost always mean revert back to that pocket before the next leg up. If you guys see a hammer candle form inside the pocket while the price is in an uptrend, that's your high probability entry with a nice dip. Don't chase the green candles. Wait for the pocket. Wait for that pullback. It's incredibly important that you follow that rule. The EMA crossover gives you clean, objective entry signals. The 21 EMA acts as a dynamic support in trending markets overall, and the price pocket concept gives you a precision entry instead of just chasing the overall breakouts. Now, here's where it's going to have some trouble. In a choppy sideways price action, these two lines will cross back and forth, generating a lot of false signals. If the market is ranging and going sideways with no clear trend, the 921 system will bleed you out in whipsaws. know when to trust it and when to sit on your hands. So this is an easy way that you guys can use it. You guys are going to stack it with the VWAP. If the price is above the VWAP and pulls back down to the pocket on a 5-minute chart, that's a high probability long setup. Two indicators confirming the same trend direction is always a stronger signal than one acting alone. And at the number one spot for the best indicator for day trading in 2026, we're going to have the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. This is the only line on my chart that is completely non-negotiable when it comes to day trading, because here's what it does. The VWAP is going to calculate the average price a stock has traded throughout the entire day, weighted by its volume. It's not just a simple moving average. It's going to give more weight to price levels where more shares actually changed hands. That makes it a true reflection of where the market values the stock on that given day. Why does it matter? Because institutions use the VWAP as the benchmark. Large funds are literally measuring whether or not they bought above or below this line. That means price treats it as a magnet. So you guys are going to be treating the VWAP as your line of truth. If the price is above it, you're a buyer. If the price is below it, you guys are a seller, because most traders fail because they're going to try to buy the dip when the price is below the VWAP. In 2026, that's like catching a falling knife, and you guys have seen that plenty enough this week alone. So you're going to wait for the VWAP to reclaim on the high volume. That's where the real money starts being made. So many traders love it because the VWAP is going to give you a dynamic support and resistance level that updates in real time. It's clean, objective, and respected by both retail and institutional traders. It resets every single day, giving you a fresh read for each trading session. However, here's where it starts to break down. Like everything else, the VWAP is a lagging indicator. It's going to reflect past data, not the future. And a strong trending day, price can stay above or below that VWAP for hours and hours and hours. So using it as a mean reversion tool in a trending market will get you chopped up. However, the best way to use it is to watch for the price to pull back to the VWAP after a strong move and look for rejection or confirmation before entering. If the price is going to reclaim that VWAP from below with a strong volume, that's going to be a really good long signal. However, if it gets rejected at the VWAP from above, that's going to be an easy short signal. This is your daily bias line, so everything else stacks up on top of it while day trading. It'll help you not make a bunch of losing trades. That's how important the VWAP is to your success. Alrighty, I promised you guys a bonus indicator that almost nobody in retail trading uses, and here it is, the tick index. The tick measures the real-time difference between the number of New York Stock Exchange stocks currently ticking up versus ticking down. So, if 800 stocks are ticking up and 400 are ticking down, the tick reading is plus 400, and it updates every single second. But you may be thinking, why does this matter? It gives you a real-time reading on market-wide buying and selling pressure. Professional trading institutions watch the tick constantly to gauge whether the broad market is risk on or risk off at any given moment. Most retail traders are staring at one stock in isolation with no idea what the market is doing underneath the surface. Now here's how the pros use it. A tick reading consistently above 600 throughout the day signals broad buying pressure. That's going to be a great environment for long selling. However, below negative 600 is going to be broad selling, and that's where you guys are going to be looking to go short, but do not go long during that time because it's just not going to work out in your favor. However, extreme readings plus 1,000 or below 1,000 can often signal short-term exhaustion. Think of it more as a RSI, where if you get too high, get too low, sometimes it could just be oversold, overbought, and you should think about, hey, maybe I should hold off on this position, or I should sell a little bit early. You really want to watch the tick reversals from those extremes as a confirmation for your future entries. It won't generate a buy or sell signal on its own, but as a market context filter, it's going to be extremely invaluable. Add it to a separate panel on your chart tonight and watch what happens by tomorrow morning. Within a week, you guys are going to fully understand how to use it, and you're going to see a lot of clear patterns well before a lot of your indicators even start giving you signals. So there you have it. Volume profile, MACD, RSI, EMA 9 and 21, the VWAP, and the tick index as your secret weapon. 5 indicators that are going to give you a real edge, and one that gives you a new view and perspective on the market overall, especially as a retail day trader. Do not pile them all up on one chart and expect it to automatically be some type of magical system. Learn each one and master each one, because once you guys understand what it's actually measuring, that's when you guys are going to be able to stack up 1 or 2 or 3, and that's all you're going to need in order to make consistent profit day after day on any stock that really has good liquidity. Hey everyone, today's sponsor is WEEX, a global crypto trading exchange where you can trade hundreds of cryptocurrencies, use futures and spot markets, and even copy expert traders, all from one secure platform. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description below. Thanks.